What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a little bit of an unusual video. I'm going to be doing a reaction video. Now, I don't normally do reaction content in all honesty. It's not something I really kind of specialize in. But a video has been brought to my attention known as Monster Hunter Has a Cheating Problem by Carl Jobst, who, if anyone knows who he is the guy who brought to the Monster Hunter community's attention of the potential fake Alatreon blindfold run, and so on and so forth. Anyway, he's done a new video on a potential cheating issue in Monster Hunter World. Now, a quick skim over this, it's talking about speedrunners not cheating in general. Like, it's not talking about, say, modded content, because modded content, it is a PvE game at the moment. To be honest, it's not going to really hurt anyone. So it doesn't matter if you mod your talismans per se, or anything like that. But in regards to speedrunning, it's a little bit different. So let's see what he got to. Let's see what Carl has to say on this, shall we? Also, I hope you don't mind. I'm using my VTuber model at the moment, so you got a little bit more of a reaction out of me than just my voice. So let's get into this.
Hello, you absolute legends. In 2023, the Monster Hunter World speedrunning community began to witness something astonishing. A Chinese speedrunner known as Bad Cat started to dominate the game in a way that no one had ever seen. They were crushing world records left and right. It seemed like every few days they would upload a new world record, and there was no monster they couldn't completely dominate. This shouldn't really happen.
Right, okay, quick side note, my speedrunning experience, I have tried it, I have tried to get into it. It takes a long time to get a legitimate speedrun. Getting them that quickly means that you're either cracked, incredibly lucky, or something sus. So, yeah. Also, back in 2019, I remember when I started watching speedrunner content for Monster Hunter World, when the game was out on PC. But like I said, it's when I started first taking note of Monster Hunter speedruns, getting into the community, learning what it's all about, all that stuff. It wasn't really my cup of tea, but it was still it was fairly enjoyable. But I did see a lot of content creators and streamers who were getting runs that was so outrageously good that it was a little bit disheartening when I wasn't able to actually achieve that. I don't think I'm that bad at games. I don't think I'm the best, but yeah, anyway, long story short, I did notice on a few of these videos back in 2019 that certain things were amiss and awry, and there was definitely mods being used. People would try to hide their insane damage numbers by turning damage numbers off, things like that, and a lot of these content creators were brought to light, shall we say. But it also put a distrust in me of speedruns, especially if they are done on PC, as PC is a lot easier to mod than the console versions of Monster Hunter World. But yeah, anyway, enough rambling, let's get back into this. I think I know where this is going, but let's see.
At least not in Monster Hunter. This is because, as is true for many games when it comes to speedrunning, Monster Hunter is very luck dependent. Yes, in order to achieve world records you need a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge about the game, but you also need the monsters to cooperate. Monster behavior is random, and certain monster actions allow you to use more optimal strategies. You can bait out certain monster moves more often than not, but there is still a huge element of luck and variables in that sense. So yeah, you can be good at the game, but when it comes to speedruns, I can imagine sort of like 90% of your speedruns will mess up because the monster isn't cooperating in the right way. Anyway, sorry. Get lucky and the monster chooses favorable actions, you can do damage quicker and kill them faster. Normally players would need to grind monsters for a long time to get the best luck, but not this speedrunner. This force from the east would get optimal luck extremely quickly. far quicker than anyone else, and they were accumulating a world record tally that was unbelievable. The other speedrunners felt like this shouldn't be possible, but just saying that someone is getting too lucky isn't really good enough, unless of course the odds are stupidly unrealistic. However, the real truth would soon be revealed, when another speedrunner noticed that one of the monsters did something that shouldn't be possible. This wasn't an instance of monster behavior that was just unlikely, this was something no one else had ever seen before, not once in the history of the game. And sure enough, when experts checked the game files and examined the code, it was confirmed.
You gotta really know the game to notice something a monster is doing that it shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I assume it's a certain move that is restricted to a certain phase in a hunt or something like that. Anyway, let's just read this a second. Insect Glaive Run, Monster Hunter, Master Rank, called Throff by Bad Cat, but I don't know who Bad Cat is, by the way, so I can't comment on his character or anything like that. According to an experienced Kulftaroth runner, the final attack Kulftaroth does in this run should not be possible. The Max Punch move should not occur after Kulftaroth has enraged in Phase 3. This analysis aims to show whether or not this attack can legally occur in Phase 3 post-enrage. Main files, yada yada. So, yeah, it looks like potentially there's something to do with the moves that's going on.
This particular action at this particular time wasn't possible. It was clear that this speedrunner was modifying the game and changing the way that monsters behave in order to kill them faster. After they were exposed, this speedrunner stopped uploading runs, but on their very last upload, the title was different from the others. It now revealed the truth, that it was tool assisted. Monster Hunter has a cheating problem, and over the past several months, a slew of speedrunners have been exposed as hacking the game to get unrealistic monster behavior. And what's worse is that they are racking up millions of views with unaware viewers that believe their achievements are completely real. In this video, we will take a look at how speedrunners are cheating their way into Monster Hunter fame and earning a pretty penny while doing it. I really hope you enjoy.
Damn, that's subtle if they're able to I mean, it's very subtle. I guess well, hell, the flipping other speedrunners are the ones who managed to point it out by saying the monsters aren't behaving like they should be. So that is some subtle sussiness, shall we say. Yeah, anyway.
Now, Legends, this video is brought to you by the heroes over at Red Magic. Red Magic specializing...
Sorry, Carl, we're going to skip past this. I'm glad you got a sponsorship. By the way, chat, go check out Carl's video. I'll leave the link down in the description below. Show him some support for pointing this out, as well as go watch his analysis of the potential cheating blindfolded Alatreon run. It's a good watch. And I clicked the wrong button. Where are we? So... let's go on.
RNG is a variable that gamers have to deal with in almost every single game that exists. It's the very thing that drives enemy behavior in order to achieve a more unpredictable and interesting gaming experience. In speedrunning, enemy behavior is almost always one of the most impactful variables. We need enemies to do certain things at certain times in order to get things done in the quickest time. And in a game like Monster Hunter, monster behavior is almost everything. That's because the entire game revolves around fighting monsters. In Monster Hunter, players begin quests which involve slaying a particular monster. Once the monster is slayed and the quest is completed, the game shows your completion time.
I'm sure he's just explaining this to players or viewers of his who don't actually play Monster Hunter. The voice is a bit obvious, but yeah. This is the gist of Monster Hunter. We hunt monsters. The fun is in their behavior, their unpredictableness, the fact that, you know, well, living creatures are normally quite unpredictable and they're trying to emulate that. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's carry on.
This in-game timer that speedrunners and the general community use to time their runs. Speedrunning Monster Hunter involves a lot of planning. Players theorize and craft special builds and try to plan out as best they can which skills and buffs they will implement and in what order. Players also need to plan when and where they will deal damage to fully take advantage of in-game mechanics. Each monster has unique damage thresholds that allow you to stun, stagger, or knock them down. And doing these at the optimal time will give you the greatest amount of control over the monster so you can continue to do as much damage as possible. This requires a lot of calculation, and runners spend a lot of time planning which attacks to use, when to use them, and which areas of the monsters to target. This is called scripting, and players will try to script as much of each fight as they can. However, as monsters become stronger and the fights grow longer, this adds more and more RNG into the mix.
Yeah, scripting is all basically about what we can control. Like he said, your build, your item loadouts, when you're going to potentially meet certain thresholds to knock down a monster. Like, for example, when you are approaching the elemental threshold on Alatreon, and you know there's going to be a big knockdown, an opportunity for some major damage, you'll plan your bigger attacks and so on and so forth then. But that being said, there are still so many random elements, not only in terms of what the monster is doing, where the monster is positioned, because where the monster is positioned to where the hunter is will also dictate what the monster may do in terms of its movesets. There are certain scripted moves, of course, but for the most part it is random. And then you have to take into account as well, you see a lot of speedrunners, they'll do their hunts in arena-based locations to remove the unknown variables and randomness and the RNG of more open locations like the ancient forest or something like that. So you'll see speedrunners doing monsters that are self-contained to a certain zone, like Alatreon, Fatalis, or as you see in the video here, the monsters who are tied to the actual arena. But yes, let's carry on.
Obviously, if a fight is longer, a monster will execute more actions, and because each action is random, things become less and less predictable. And this is especially important because some actions are more beneficial than others. Some attacks don't require you to dodge or move around as much, and thus you can keep attacking and doing damage. The best Monster Hunter speedrunners have fights down to a science, and they know the best ways to punish any particular move a monster does. But because each move is punishable by a different amount, getting lucky is going to help you kill the monster quicker, and getting unlucky can completely destroy any chances of a new record. For example, when fighting against the monster Alatreon, which you will remember from my videos looking at Queen Ponzalot's fake blindfold runs, when using the heavy bowgun, runners hope that the monster does the lightning rain attack as much as possible. During this attack, the runner can continue to spam attacks and they don't need to move. One runner that got particularly lucky with Alatreon.
Yeah. That was the creator who did the potential cheating of the blind Alatreon. To which it's very sussy. I kind of think it was a little bit staged and fake. But if she is able to do it, easiest way to do it is do it again in a more controlled environment. But I'm not here to talk about that. You're trying to bait out certain specific moves. Like for example with Fatalis, when it does its flamethrower attack, if you can bait that out multiple times, it gives you quite a few free hits on its horns. So is a good way to deal damage. So trying to bait out certain moves is key. However, I believe certain moves are, what's the word I'm looking for? They can only be met during certain phases of hunts or when certain conditions have been met.
Crayon was a runner known as Deva. Deva is certainly one of the most...
I know the name Deva. I might have seen some of their content. Anyway, sorry.
well-known Monster Hunter speedrunners in the entire world, and have used their speedruns to help build a modestly successful YouTube channel, boasting over 70,000 subscribers and tens of millions of channel views. Deva is a really good speedrunner. On their About section, they claim over 50 speedrunning world records, and 50. According to Deva himself, he is the #1 speedrunner in the world.
Oh, that's a hell of a boast. That's a hell of a boast. But yeah, it seems that he knows his stuff then.
World.
And now, right now, in the position I am, I have no one to look up to. Like, I don't. sadly.
Oh.
And that's bad because you can't improve anymore. Like you can't improve if you don't have anyone to look up to.
Dev,
I disagree with that. There's always going to be someone who is potentially better than you, or who is a rising star who can compete on your level, to which you need to keep your skills fresh, and you basically you compete with yourself to get better. Failing that, if you feel that you are at the apex of your kind of speedrunning career with Monster Hunter, then it can be, you can transfer it to potentially other Monster Hunter titles, or failing that, there is a universe of other games out there. I am sure that there is, if you need to challenge yourself, or you don't have to restrict yourself to Monster Hunter speedruns if you feel that there is nothing left for you here. At least that's my take on that statement, I think.
was well known in the speedrunning community for his lucky runs, and on his Alatreon runs especially, it was unbelievable how well behaved the monster seemed to be. For the past several years, Deva was light years ahead of the other speedrunners, beating Alatreon much faster than anyone else ever had. On his 2 fastest runs, Alatreon's behavior throughout the entire fight was almost identical, and Alatreon was spamming Lightning Rain more than anyone else had ever experienced. More specifically, and what's noteworthy, is that Alatreon did the Lightning Rain move twice in a row, which seemed to be particularly rare. The speedrunner Juzzy decided to look into these runs.
I must confess I haven't really noticed it. Do it twice in a row? I could be remembering wrong though.
Because they just seemed a bit suspicious.
The future of your business.
Future of your business is in your hands. I should really get YouTube Premium.
He asked other speedrunners if they had ever seen Alatreon use Lightning Rain twice in a row, and the answer was always no. No one else had ever seen it. Truthfully, no one else even thought it was possible for Alatreon to do this, and yet Deva had it happen multiple times. Juzzy then asked someone from the Monster Hunter modding community to look into the game's code, specifically the probabilities that govern Alatreon's behavior, and as it turns out,
hang on, Alatreon will never do 2 Lightning Rains in a row uninterrupted. The Darcblade run sequence of getting up from a wallbang, Enraged Roar, Lightning Rain is impossible. The Heavy Bowgun run sequence of Flinch, Lightning Rain is impossible. The Alatreon AI in these runs must have been modified. That's a little bit oof. Oh dear. Oh no. My trust with PC speedruns is going to be a little bit shaken again. Damn. Uninterrupted. So potentially, I guess if it was doing its Lightning Rain and you interrupted it with, say, a wallbang or something like that, it could potentially cause it to do a second one follow-up afterwards, after it's recovered, but twice in a row uninterrupted? No. Oof. That's not a good look. Damn. Oh well. Let's continue. Let's see what he has to say.
It should be literally impossible for Alatreon to do this move twice in a row. Juzzy confronted Deva about this, and initially, Deva completely denied it. But after learning that Juzzy was about to go public with a video exposing Deva's cheating, he confessed to changing the enemy's AI in order to get faster speedruns.
There is so-called THK files, which basically alter the percentage of certain moves, and that has been used in my Alatreon on the Darcblade run, which had like a higher percentage to increase the lightning attacks.
But what's interesting is that Deva claimed that hacking the game to do this isn't wrong. According to Deva, it's not cheating if he changes enemy behavior because his speedruns are just for content and aren't competitive.
In my opinion, there is nothing wrong with it. It's RNG. It's RNG manipulation just like everything else. Everyone can think differently. Of course, you can say it's an unfair advantage, but of course, as I say, I do non-competitive runs. It's just content.
But as shown before,
when you're claiming to be the #1 speedrunner in the world with, what was it, 50 records? You can't say that when you're sharing your speedruns, they can't be modified like this. It also gives your audience a false sense of prestige, skill, and I mean, I was going to say, Dev is clearly a skilled hunter, regardless of that. You know, this is not an attack on his character, and the fact that he admitted to it is actually quite commendable in that sense. Well, to a degree, anyway. But I don't agree with the how it's just for sort of like content and it's harmless and stuff like that. His channel has grown on his speedrunning capabilities, and damn oh no, that's rough. That's rough. This is why I don't trust speedrunning. This is why I don't trust speedruns on PC. I mean, okay, yeah, you can mod a console, but it's not quite as prevalent. But yeah, no, I don't agree. Like I said, if you're posting speedruns and sharing and trying to hold world records, then the unfair advantage should be taken into account, and those times should be null and void. Sorry if that sounds harsh, but anyway, let's carry on.
This isn't how Deva advertises his channel. He says he has legitimate world records, and nowhere has he ever publicly stated on any of his runs that the enemy's behavior has been modified. And as a result, all of his viewers think they are real. And some of the comments are pretty funny when you know that he modifies the game. Despite what Deva claims, no reasonable person would ever see these videos and think they were anything other than a legitimate speedrun. And beyond this, Deva is just straight up lying. While the main Monster Hunter...
Yeah, I was going to say, when I saw Deva's content, or when I've seen some of his speedruns, I've never doubted kind of the legitimacy of them. They look fine, I guess. So this modification to the monster's behavior is so subtle that I don't think a lot of people would question it or give it a second thought. But anyway.
To world speedrunning leaderboards are no longer updated, Deva did submit his runs to them in the past, and his runs, which were world records at the time, are confirmed to also be hacked because of impossible enemy behavior. What's also troubling is that according to Deva, many other players are doing the same thing. And he knows this because they asked him directly for the same software that allows him to do it.
And a lot of people use it. I won't mention any names, but I cannot count with two hands how many people use THK editing for that, especially on Alation. Many of your friends, many runners that you know, and I have screenshots of many people that ask for it, but of course I won't out any of it.
Remember at the beginning of the video I described the Chinese speedrunner Badcat, who was dominating the game throughout the past year. This was actually one of Deva's friends, though it was a different impossible behavior that exposed him. During the fight called
this is putting a lot of people under a little bit of a microscope when it comes to speedrunning. This could harm the Monster Hunter speedrunning community, especially if people are associated with Deva. Yeah, oof. That's gonna make a lot of speedruns. It's going to bring a lot of speedruns into question to see if they're legitimate or not. Oof. This is another reason why I stay vanilla. As in, I don't use mods for Monster Hunter.
To Roth, the monster did a move right before dying called Max Punch. This move had never been seen during this particular phase of the fight by other speedrunners, so the monster's behavior was decompiled, and it was proven that this behavior
the Max Punch can only be called in the Master Rank Kultharoth quest when blank is not active. Through our testing, we determined that blank is only active during phase 3's Enraged. Therefore, the Max Punch cannot occur during phase 3 Enrage. The Kultharoth AI in these runs must have been modified.
behavior was impossible. And against Alatreon, the monster performed the sweeping fire breath move when Bad Cat was standing relatively close. Usually this move is only performed when you're some distance away. At least, that was the experience of all of the other speedrunners. And once again, after looking at the game's code, they found it was impossible for Alatreon to choose that particular attack when you're standing that close. On the 1st of May, Juzzy uploaded a video of these findings. Previously, Bad Cat was uploading a new world record every few days, but after Juzzy's video, he uploaded one last video with the title, including the tag TAS, indicating a tool-assisted speedrun, and he hasn't been seen since. Another friend of Deva was a speedrunner known as Retro. He claimed the fastest Alatreon kill using the hammer, and his run again involved ridiculous luck, meaning that no one else was even close. In his case, on top of being lucky, Alatreon exhibited behavior that no one else had ever seen. After taking a certain amount of damage, Alatreon will transition into his dragon state, and after this transition, after performing several attack combos, Alatreon normally jumps into the air and begins to fly.
Yeah, there's always one or two flying segments to the Alatreon fight, regardless.
For melee weapons, this greatly limits their ability to do damage. However, in Retro's run, Alatreon never flew, not a single time. And this allowed Retro to continue doing maximum damage with the hammer. And once again, when this specific area of Alatreon's code was examined, it was confirmed that after 3 or 4 attack combos, Alatreon is programmed to always fly. And the fact that Alatreon didn't fly on Retro's run confirmed that he was modding his game.
Now, I believe if you were to... Alatreon will always fly at certain points. You can potentially get it to fly and then knock it down straight away with either flash pods or the flint shot, especially if it's not as long as it's not enraged. But it would still have taken off at least once. Damn. Oh no. We told the monsters not to do certain moves for our speedruns.
When he was exposed, Retro claimed that he was using a no-fly mod to make his casual play more fun, and he accidentally left it on. It's important to remember that a lot of the things that caught these runners out, these impossible monster behaviors, weren't intentional. It was an unintended side effect of modifying the probabilities of certain moves. But now that the impossible behavior has been identified, these modders will simply make their hacks more sophisticated, and these blemishes will be patched out. These are just several examples. Even more cheaters have...
Yeah, the Retro with the Alatreon one, it could have been left on. He could have been learning the fight potentially without having the annoyance of it taken off. So, benefit of the doubt there, potentially.
These modders will simply make their hacks more sophisticated, and these blemishes will be patched out. These are just several examples. Even more cheaters have been caught, and there are a lot of other speedrunners that also show these same telltale signs of being too lucky. If what Deva is saying is true, many more speedrunners are indeed using mods. And given that these cheaters all spawned from the same group, it's obvious they were all in on it together. This never used to be such a widespread problem in Monster Hunter. It seems to have arisen within the last several years, and the reason is pretty logical. The Monster Hunter franchise has been around since 2004, but 2018 is when Monster Hunter World was released. This was an important entry to the franchise, because it was the first game to be released for the PC.
In my opinion, the best one as well.
PC is fantastic for the modding community because so many tools already exist for the PC that allow people to access and edit game files and modify the game. It is much harder to modify games on console because there is the added barrier of needing to develop specific software just to read and write files. And then when it comes to speedrunning on a PC, these modding tools also make it so much easier to cheat. On a PC, it's usually really simple to download a program that easily communicates with your game and changes the way it behaves. It's much harder to find software that could achieve these same goals on a console. So this recent epidemic of players cheating by modifying the game's AI is a result of the game being released on the PC. And sure enough, all of the players that are caught cheating in this way play on PC. Unfortunately, this new wave of cheaters have done irreparable damage to the Monster Hunter World speedrunning community. It's honestly impossible to know just how real something is if there aren't any glaringly obvious errors like impossible enemy AI. People will still continue to speedrun because they love the game, but they will always have to contend with other runners who modify the game and upload fake runs to YouTube. It's a sad situation all round, and especially for those dedicated runners that really do play the game legitimately. Thanks for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you, Carl. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now, oof, that's a little bit to unpack there. I do agree that it's going to basically cause a lot of credibility issues, shall we say. Basically, now every time we see a speedrun on PC, we're going to be questioning if it's legit or not, which is a... I mean, I already lost trust back in 2019 when I saw some other speedrunners who were modding their version of the game to deal insane amounts of damage. This has not helped that trust issue. And I will say this now: modding is fine. This is a PvE game after all. It can be played solo as well, and if you're struggling, mods can help you out. Mods are also great as well when it comes to cosmetic stuff, so on and so forth, especially with Monster Hunter. So if you want to mod your game, go for it. The only issue is when any sort of competitive element comes into play, and even though speedrunning isn't, say, like an official part of the game per se, there is a huge official sort of like speedrunning community, and that is where modding the game, in my opinion, is not okay. It gives you an unfair advantage, and it basically devalues potentially people who are doing it legit, which is a shame. And to the untrained eye, the people who have put a lot of the people who are doing their runs legit are going to be overshadowed potentially by the people who aren't doing their runs legit, who do have modded behaviors or damage numbers or builds or whatever, which is a heck of a shame. I had hoped that, like I said, I knew about cheating, maybe not this subtle of cheating, but I knew about the cheating in speedruns before, but I didn't realize it was this prevalent, or actually with some of these bigger names, if I'm honest. Which, by the way, don't send them any hate. What's done is done. Move on, forgive, all that good stuff. Let's hope they don't do it again. But damn, yeah. I think if I do speedrunning again, I might actually just do it on my PS version of the game rather than PC, just so it eliminates any doubt. Because speedrunning can be fun. It's a challenge. Even if it can be frustrating at times. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, I'll leave the link down below for this video. Please go check it out. Show Carl some love. Check out as well his video on the potential fake blindfold Alatreon run. That was a good watch as well. But yeah. But anyway, this has been a reaction video to Monster Hunter Has a Cheating Problem. Tell me what you think of this kind of content, or if you think the cheating problem is acceptable or not, whatever your experience with this kind of thing is. I'd love to read them. And until next time, I'll see you again soon. I've been Darcblade. Till then, subscribe and like for more.